What is going on? I am Johnny Von Duke and you're watching Disney Channel. What the fuck? First off, I want to state one thing. This video is not going to be at all what you think it is. I know the side footage over there. I know what it looks like. I know I'm going to be having various images overlaying. I know I'm going to be showing a list. I am not going to be talking about every single Dragon Ball game that ever existed. That will just be way too fucking much. Not only would that be way too much, these games have, just for the individual games by the way, not even if we were going with all of them at once, if we were just to go with individual games, each individual game has had so many different versions and releases, it is not even funny. Re-releases, all that jazz. Like, Dragon Ball games have just been released to high hell. We're talking arcade games, mobile games, console games. Oh my god. Like, the board games too, not to mention. Like, this is just talking about, you know, what we would perceive as an arcade or a video game. Or a mobile game. You know, there are board games as well. They have released card games around Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball games are just insane with how many there are. I would honestly argue Dragon Ball has dipped into every genre you possibly can, video game wise. There have been shoot 'em ups, there have been fighters. You have had the Budokai games, like later on. I don't remember if Budokai, I need to play through Budokai 1, we'll get through that. But I know in Budokai 3, you had kind of the Soul Calibur shit, where you could go around like 360 around the whole stage, you know, dance around everybody. They ripped off, not ripped off, I don't want to say ripped off, all of these games have had genuine time and love put into them. Dragon Ball games are loved by their developers and loved by their fans, first off. But we'll get into that love a little later, because I have a section for that. But, like, they have done every single fighting game genre possible. You know, we have the newer game, I forget the name of it, Dragon Ball Z Fighters. Not Z, is it called Z Fighters? I can't remember. It's the Dragon Ball game I don't like. But it very much is retro Street Fighter-esque. Which I vibe with, but it's like, man, I don't know what genres they can go through. There's also Dragon Ball The Breakers, which is Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th, which is just wow. Dragon Ball is doing a survival game now. Just what? Survival games? Are you kidding me, man? This is wild! Wow! But aside from that wildness, that is Dragon Ball The Breakers. If we're talking about these games, especially the Budokai, more specifically the Budokai Tenkaichi series, those games are loved by its fans so much. At some point in the video, you'll be seeing footage of me just scrolling through all the fucking cover art for the various Dragon Ball games. And let me tell you, there is a lot of fan cover art for the Dragon Ball games. Lots of them, especially for the Tenkaichi series, which, hey, I can't blame them. That was a lit series. I prefer OG Budokai, though, you know? That's just how I am. I'm sorry, I'm an OG Budokai type guy. Speaking of which, I got this beauty off Amazon. Yeah. I was kind of a dumbass and didn't look at it properly. I thought it was going to be 1, 2, and 3. It's only 1 and 3. I've been mostly playing through 3, but at some point I'll get to 1. I'll get to 1 at some point, but first ever Dragon Ball game for me was 3. So that's what I'm replaying through right now on the PS3. I never knew they did an HD re-release, which is one of the things is just wild about these games. I know I briefly said about the various versions, but can we just talk about how many different versions and ports of the individual games there are? You know, obviously we have the language ports, you know, for Latino countries, Asian-speaking countries. Dragon Ball is in fact a Japanese property, so that's to be expected. But we're talking even individual releases for, like, countries like China and shit like that. China loves you. But enough about China loving you. This is about Dragon Ball. And it's just crazy to see all these different versions of games that you just never knew existed. Hell, if we're going back to, not this guy, but Budokai 3, there are like so many different ports just for the Latino countries of the Budokai games. It's wild. And lots of these for the different regions, like of South America too, have different cover arts for the individual releases. And it is wild to see. Like, what? And not even to mention the fact Dragon Ball games apparently go back to, I think, the 1980s? I think. I was going through the Wikipedia page to see if I could get, you know, some generalized list, thinking this would be short. But no, that Wikipedia link, it opened my eyes, and it showed me how wide and verse Dragon Ball games were. You know, I knew there were a lot of Dragon Ball fighting games, but when I found out there were shoot-'em-ups and shit like that in the Dragon Ball series, I was just like, what the fuck and how? Like, I would have gameplay for all those, but we're not doing a rerun of the various formats of Assassin's Creed. We're not redoing that mess. That was murder on my mind to the highest scale and caliber. But moving forward from my messy rambles, where can Dragon Ball games go from here? Now, don't get me wrong, I know they're always going to come out with something. Dragon Ball games are beloved, and it's also crazy to think all these games spawned from a TV show. I mean, hell, it was crazy enough when there were movies. Like, listen, man, first movie I ever saw, OG Brawly movie, that shit hit different. I wish there was a game around that movie specifically. I would love to just have a movie, not a movie, a game based around that. I know, it would never happen, but I would love for it to happen. Besides me wanting things loving to happen, yeah, where can it go? I know they're always going to come up with something, but where can they go with Dragon Ball games from here? I know I'm going to make this video, they're going to come out with something, I'm going to be like, holy shit, it's gone in a new direction. But you know, perceivably, what can they do that's new? You know, they had to dip into Street Fighter and survival, you know, as territories here. Don't get me wrong. It's like, I know with new technology coming out, but it's like almost what I said with my Dragon Ball Z Kakarot Kai video. Is it feasible? I don't know. Because realistically, you've done so many Dragon Ball games, people are starting to want remasters and re-releases of those old games. Hell, like I have said numerous times now, I bought this thing just so I could re-experience some of the fucking older games. And its gloriousness. I wish I had the OG Budokai 3, man, for PS2. I'll have to sell it for the PS3 version, but it's fine because it's in HD. Looks better. It's a little bit more stretched, so you can see a little bit more of that beautiful screen. Yes, all the pixels. Give me all of it in the glorious 720p. Because it's like an early PS3 game, so it doesn't really do the full 1080, but it's whatever. It's whatever. No one cares. I'm just a guy ranting on the internet. No one's gonna give a shit about me. But yeah, if you guys have any idea where Dragon Ball Z games can and will go, I'm curious to know. Because I perceivably just can't see where it's going with all this shit they have done before. Like, they have gone from the Game Boy, the PS2, the GameCube, the fucking Wii, the PS3, the Xbox 360. Like, I just don't know. I mean, technology will advance. They'll figure out some way to give us new shit. Honestly, I just think it would be best if they kept upgrading Kakarot, you know? Give us that Kakarot Kai version, maybe? Please? Pretty please? With sprinkles on top? DBZ Kakarot Kai? Pretty please, Bandai Senpai? I'm just kidding. Don't call Bandai Senpai. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve that love. Only the internet does. Suck the internet's cock. Be the internet's bitch. Suck the internet's massive milky titties. Anyway, it's time for the other me and his sweaty milky titties to enlighten you all with the end card. Take it away, sweaty milky titty me. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. It's pretty much a nothing burger, but if you've been watching my channel for all 8 years that's existed, you should know that's kind of what we do here. Anyway, if you somehow found yourself enjoying it, click over here to watch another video, click over here to watch another degenerate video, click here to subscribe to my channel, then click down there for, well, whatever lazy lack of originality content I put there. Anyway, get the fuck out of here, you filthy animal. Goodbye. Testing the audio for your glorious butthole Maximus. Oh yeah, audio test. Woo!